right, welcome to the yoga class. Before we get started, a few things. Make sure you're recording in time-lapse or hyperlapse on your phone. It says high-speed recording. Just make sure you're doing that. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you hold up the sign with your name on it, first and last name, the number of the yoga practice, okay, and also the date that you do it, okay? And just hold that up for 15 seconds because it's high-speed recording. 15 seconds just allows me to kind of see this here before we get started. So, and you're going to have to do that for every practice that you do. Just make sure you hold that up, okay? A few other things. Make sure, hopefully you have a quiet space to do yoga. And if you have a water bottle handy, that would be great. I have a little hand towel in case you need to wipe off the sweat. You might get a workout in a little bit with this, like I said in the syllabus. Also, if you have a strap, that would be great. You don't need a strap though. This is a yoga strap, but you could use a towel. If you have a towel lying around that you can use, we'll do some stretching at the end that maybe you can use that for. And then hopefully we talked about a yoga mat on the syllabus. If you have one, great. If not, that's okay. The yoga mat's just helpful because we do push with our feet and our hands, and it just makes sure you don't slip. But you can get away with it, but maybe you'll eventually get a yoga mat if you can. All right, so we'll get started. The first thing I like to do is get in the right frame of mind for your practice. So we'd like to let everything else go, right? Let everything else going on in your life before you're doing yoga, after you do yoga. Just let it go. You want to be in the present moment. So a good way to do that is to focus on your breath. So what I like to do is just lay down on the mat. If you want to sit, you can. It doesn't really matter, but I prefer to just lay down here. Oh, one other thing I just remembered is some music. I'm not playing music just because I want to make sure you hear me. But during my in-person classes when I teach yoga at City College, I always have music on, nice soft music in the background. I would highly recommend it if you can to play some music. Whatever you like would be very helpful. I find it just enhances the yoga practice. So if you can put some music on, that would be great. So I like to just lay back. You can put your legs out. I prefer my knees bent, just helps my low back to kind of stay flat on the mat here. And all you're going to do is just focus on your breath, right? We all breathe, but do you really focus on your breath? So what we're going to do is just focus on your breathing, that inhale, exhale, just focus on the breath. So just take a moment here, focus on your inhale and exhale. So a couple things in yoga, we like to breathe in and out through the nose if that's possible. You could try that, see what that feels like for you. If it doesn't work, obviously breathe through the mouth. Me personally, I like to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. So just another thing in yoga too we like is we like to use our diaphragm to breathe. So using the diaphragm, the stomach will rise and fall when you breathe. It's not just your stomach though. It's all the way around that area. Your sides, even your back can kind of expand here when you inhale. So as you inhale, you might want to put your hands on your tummy just to feel it rise and fall when you exhale. So just try that. See if you can use your diaphragm to breathe. You don't want the chest to rise. That's the lungs, right? We use our lungs, but the diaphragm, the stomach is going to rise and fall. So just try that for a moment here, putting your hands on your stomach. Just see if you can just get it to rise and fall. Just using the diaphragm to breathe is just very helpful when we do yoga, just to help support that midsection, especially the low back when we do some poses and things. So we'll talk about that as we go through the class, as we go through practices using the diaphragm to breathe. So just trying to focus on the diaphragm when you breathe. Again, just conscious of your inhale, conscious of your exhale. Using the diaphragm to breathe. So continue to focus on your breath. Just remember to let go of any expectations during this practice. Might be a lot of you just your first time doing yoga. Just let go of any expectations. Let go of any judgment. Let go of any competition, right? So, you don't have to do anything like I'm doing it. Do it the way you feel is best for you. I'll show you adjustments, modifications. You can try them, see if they work for you. If something doesn't feel right for you, you don't have to do it. I don't want anybody getting injured or hurting themselves in a yoga class. So always, listen to your body, do what feels right for you. Make adjustments, modifications if you need to. So again, continue to focus on the breath. Go ahead and bend your knees up. If you had your legs out, just bend your knees up here. And then what you're going to do is just slowly just rock your knees side to side. So just start with some small ones. You're just going to rock your knees side to side. Again, continue to focus on the breath. It's nice if you have some nice soft music on, something that you like. Again, don't forget about the breath. You can slowly just start to sway those knees side to side. Maybe getting those knees to go to the floor. So your feet could be together. Your feet could be about hip width apart. Your feet could be as wide as the mat. These are all different places you could put your feet here. So you can just kind of move the feet around, see what feels good for you. Keep the knees together if you'd like. What I like to do is as I go back and forth, I like to kind of open up the hip. So as I'm on to the right, I'll open up my left knee and then my right knee kind of follows. When I'm on the right side, I'll bring my right knee over, or I'm on the left side, my right knee comes over, and then my left knee follows. So there's just another way of doing it. Again, you can keep those knees together or kind of open up the hips as you go. Again, just going nice and slow. Don't forget about the breath. I forgot to say too, if you want to use a pillow for your head here, that's always can be comfortable too as well. I talked about yoga blocks in the syllabus, but we'll get to yoga blocks in a week or two here. Right now, don't worry about a yoga block, but if you have a pillow, you can use that. Good, just bringing the knees back to center here. And then what you're going to do is just nice and easy, just with your breath. Inhale, bring one knee to chest. Good, exhale, you'll release that knee. Inhale, we'll bring the other knee to chest. Good, exhale, release that knee. Good, inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, release it. So just go with your own breath here. And again, there's no real right or wrong when should I be inhaling, exhaling. If you're exhaling, when I'm saying inhale, that's okay. As long as you're breathing here, that's fine. And if you want, you can bring that knee to chest. If you want to extend the other leg all the way down the mat, you can do something like that. If that feels better for you, you can extend that leg down. Just going nice and slow here. We're just trying to get a little blood flow here. Again, just trying to get in the right frame of mind for your practice. Also, if you want, you could try, as the knee comes in, you can extend the leg up in the air, just nice and slow, and bring it down. Knee to chest, extend the leg here. We're not trying to pull the leg or anything like that, just going and extending the leg up. Again, just getting a little bit of movement in the leg. You can always go back to knees side to side a little bit. If you want to go back to that one, feel free, whatever feels good for you. Good, the next time you put a foot back down, just go ahead and bring both knees to your chest. You can hold on to those knees if you'd like. You don't have to, but I prefer to hold on to my knees a little bit because we'll rock side to side now. So just a little rock side to side. You can rock more and more to the side if you want. Good, just coming back to center with the knees. And then what you're going to do is just keep your knees together. And you're just going to make little circles with your knees in one direction. So just circle the knees around, just small circles. You can hold on to those knees or maybe take the hands off the knees while you circle those knees around. Just nice and slow. You can always make bigger and bigger circles with those knees if you want. And don't forget about the breath. Good, we'll slowly just go ahead and reverse direction, so we'll circle the knees in the other direction. Good, just coming back to center with those knees. And then what we're going to do is just circle the knees in opposite directions. So the knees are going to circle away from each other. We're just opening up the hip. And then the knees are going to come back together. Circle away from each other, and then come back together. Circle away from each other, and then come back together. Good, just try it with your own breath here. Good, then I'm just going to switch directions. So circling the knees in the other direction here. Good. The next time those knees come together, just keep them there. And then what I'd like you to do is just pull the knees more to your chest, hands on top of the knees, maybe underneath the knees. I like to go underneath my knees here so I can pull those knees in a bit more. And then I like to bring my head up. You don't have to, but I like to bring my head up, just kind of curling up into a ball here. And then I like to just sway my head side to side here, just nice and slow. It helps me to warm up my neck a little bit here. Also, I like to kind of circle my ankles around, maybe wiggle the toes a little too as well while I'm in this position. It just helps to kind of wake all those things up here. Good. Knees to chest is a yoga pose here. Good. We'll release those. Release the head. Release the knees. Feet on the floor with your knees bent. Good. Just put your hands by your side here. What we're going to do is a pelvic tilt. So what you're going to do, you might be lying on your back with your knees bent. You might have a little curve in your low back here. What we want to do is push that low back flatten to the mat. That'll tilt your pelvis here. And then what I want you to do is just go ahead and lift your hips up off your mat. So this is called bridge pose. So the weight should be on the back of your shoulders, not on your neck or head. Your feet are pointed straight ahead. Your knees are pointed straight ahead. So you don't want your feet angled out or anything, or your knees angled out. Try to have those pointed straight ahead here. Don't worry too much how high those hips are, whatever feels comfortable for right now. We'll do this again here, so just kind of getting used to this. It's called bridge pose again. Just taking a few deep breaths here, see what that feels like. Good, we'll slowly just on your next exhale, you're going to lower your hips down, but I want you to roll your back. Think about rolling your back down the mat, bringing your hips down. So it's upper back, your mid back, your low back comes to the mat, and then your hips come back down to the mat. And then we'll bring our knees to our chest again. You can bring your head up again if you'd like, chin to your chest, curling up into a ball. I like to do that, but you don't have to. You can always keep your head on the mat. You can even turn the head side to side with your head on the mat if that feels better than off the mat. Again, I like to just warm up my neck a little bit. Again, circle the ankles around, wiggle the toes a little. Just trying to get a little bit of blood flow in all these areas here. Good. Just release the head to the mat. Release the knees. Feet to the floor. Knees bent. Hands by your sides. Palms down. Good. Big inhale. Big inhale. Push your low back flat. Right. Tilt your pelvis. Lift your hips. Bridge pose. Here. So we could try to maybe lift up those hips a little bit higher. What may be happening too is your feet might be out in front of your knees. You'd like your feet or ankles underneath those knees. So if your feet are way out here, just kind of walk your feet towards you a little bit. Again, still knees and feet pointed straight ahead in the same direction. That can maybe help you lift your hips up a little higher. Also in bridge pose, we like to kind of open up the chest and shoulders. So your shoulder blades in your back, just squeeze those together. It can help you lift, open up the chest and shoulders here. Some people can take their hands, I can a little bit, hands underneath those hips. If you can do that, great. If not, just hands by your sides here. You can try to lift up those hips. Even think about squeezing your glutes a little bit up here in bridge pose. Again, do what you can. I even like to bend my elbows a little bit with the backs of my arms. I kind of push them into the mat to help kind of push up those hips a bit. So again, this is bridge pose. If you have your hands underneath your hips, just put them off to the side. What I like to do is move with the breath now. So we're going to move from bridge pose into knees to chest. Okay, so just follow along here. So again, hands from underneath the hips if you have them there. On your next exhale, let's lower those hips down, roll the back down, bring the hips back down on the mat. Then we'll inhale the knees to chest, head up if you want. Good. Exhale, release the knees and head. Inhale, push the low back flat. Lift the hips, bridge pose. Again, you can open up the chest and shoulders, squeeze the glutes at the top. Good. Exhale, lower those hips back down, roll the back down. Good. Inhale, knees to chest. Good. Exhale, release the knees and head. And inhale, push that low back flat first. Inhale, lift those hips, bridge pose. Exhale, lower those hips back down. Good. Inhale, knees to chest. Good. Exhale, release the knees and head. And inhale, lift the hips. Good. Exhale, lower those hips back down. Good. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, release the knees and head, and inhale, lift the hips. So just try that with your own breath here. Just try a few here on your own. Here, don't have to follow along with me. Just do it on your own breath here. And if you're inhaling, when I'm saying exhale, just whatever way you're breathing, just make sure you just move with your breath. There's no right or wrong. When should I breathe? Inhaling, exhaling. Just move with your own breath here. Good, so how about the next time you come up into bridge pose, just go ahead and hold it there. Hold bridge pose. Good, so we're just going to hold bridge pose here. Again, we'll try to open up the chest and shoulders if you can. Squeeze those shoulder blades together in your back. Try to lift up the hips even higher. Again, walk the feet underneath those knees if you don't have them there. You can clasp your hands underneath you if you'd like. Bend your elbows, whatever kind of feels good here in bridge pose. Again, you can squeeze those glutes. Just taking a few deep breaths here. Good, so what we'll do now is get our arms involved here. So just arms are by your sides. If you have them underneath your hips, just put them off to the sides. So now as we exhale, those hips come down. Bring your arms up overhead. Good, then we'll get it. Inhale, push that low back flat, lift the hips, bridge pose, and arms come back to your sides. Good, exhale, lower those hips, arms come up overhead. Good, inhaling, lifting those hips, arms back to your sides. Good. Exhaling, lowering those hips, arms up overhead. Good. Inhaling, lifting those hips, arms back to your sides. And you just go with your own breath here. So again, doesn't matter when you're breathing. When should I bring lifting my arms up overhead and lifting my hips, and just whatever comes natural to you. Just go with your own breath here. And if it's too much doing arms and legs, or arms and hips, I should say, you could just do your hips. You could just do some bridge pose here if you want. You could just do your arms up overhead if you want. Here again, whatever feels good for you. Just go with your own breath. Good. The next time you bring your hips back down, let's just go ahead and bring our knees to our chest here. So we'll bring the knees to our chest, and you can head up to chin to your chest, just giving yourself a big hug here. Good, so since we got our core all warmed up, I told you that I do a little bit of core work here. So that's what we'll do now. So we'll just do a little bit of core work here. The first one, since our knees and feet are up here, it'll be what in the fitness world we call as a reverse crunch. So all you're going to do is exhale up, try to lift your hips up off the mat. And if your arms by your sides here, if you need to sit on your hands to kind of support your low back, you can do that. But you're going to basically exhale up, try to lift your hips up off the mat, inhale back down. Exhale up and inhale back down. You don't have to bring your head up off the mat. I don't know, I do that, but you can leave your head on the mat and just exhale up. Lift your hips up off the mat, inhale back down. Exhale up, inhale back down. Try not to swing the knees and try not to do this. Don't do this, okay? Just try to lift your hips up off the mat, whatever you can do. Lift them up, hands by your sides, hands underneath to support your low back if you need it. If you're really pushing a lot with your hands, you can put them on top of your head. Exhale up, inhale back down. Again, just trying to lift your hips up off the mat. And just go with your own breath here. Make sure you breathe. Don't hold your breath when you do this. I need some low back support. I got some low back issues, so I actually sit on my hands. This kind of helps to support my low back when I do this. If you're feeling it in your low back, you really shouldn't be, but if you do, you can sit on those hands to kind of help with this one. I do. Helps me. Again, you're just trying to use those abdominal muscles to lift your hips up off the mat. Actually, your abdominal muscle attaches to your pelvis here, and that's what you're trying to lift up off the mat here. Now, if you need a rest at any time, just put your feet down, put your head back, take a breather, all right, anytime you want. Just while you're doing this, or while we're doing this here, you can rest anytime. If you want to try a few more, just go ahead and try a few more here as we go through this. Get a little bit of core work here. So here we'll move on to another one. So just put your feet on the mat, knees bent, okay? So again, this one is called the crunch in the fitness world here. So you can put your arms across your chest, Or what I do is I put my hands, my fingertips behind my ears just to support my head. I don't clasp my hands because I don't want to pull on my neck or anything. It's just to support my head. You don't want to feel this in your neck at all. You can bring your chin towards your chest. First thing I want to do is I want to push my low back into the mat. That'll tilt my pelvis, that'll engage my core, and then I'm going to exhale up, inhale back down. Exhale up, push my low back flat into the mat here. Exhale up, inhale back down. Exhale up, again arms can go across the chest, inhale back down. Exhale up, or behind the ears just to support the head. Here, exhale up, inhale back down. And if you can, try to keep your head and shoulders off the mat the entire time. But if you need to, you can always go all the way back. But if you can, try to see if you can keep those up off the mat here. Pushing that low back flat into the mat here. Again, exhale up, inhale back down. Yeah, you'd like to try to keep that low back pushed into the mat the whole time. That'll tilt the pelvis. That'll also make sure you're not feeling it in your low back. You're really tightening your abdominal muscles here, contracting those abdominal muscles. Again, just go with your breath. Exhale up, inhale back down. Need to rest it all real easy on this one. Just put your head back. Just take a breath or two. Rest as long as you'd like. You can always try a few more. Again, rest whenever you want. Just put your head back and rest. And then here, whenever you're ready, I'm going to move on to another one. It's just a little bit of a twist now. So what I'm going to do is elbow to opposite knee. So I'm going to exhale up, bring that elbow towards my knee. I don't have to touch it, just bring it towards. Exhale. Good. Inhale back down. Exhale up the other side. Inhale back down. Exhale up. Inhale back down. Good. Exhale up. Inhale back down. Good. Exhale up. Inhale back down. Just go with your own breath. Something else, again, think about pushing that low back flat into the mat, keeping that low back pushed into the mat. That'll help you contract those abdominal muscles here, pushing that low back into the mat here. So just going with your own breath here. Rest anytime, right? Some maybe of you have done some of this before. Some of you, this is probably like the first time, so make sure you listen to your body. If you get tired, fatigued, of course, rest. Do what you can. Again, rest whenever you want. We'll try one more. It's going to put the first two together. So remember, the first one was our knees and feet are up. So that was lifting your hips up off the mat. The second one was more of a crunch where we lifted our head, shoulders, torso off the mat. So what we're going to do is put those two together. So knees and feet up off the mat. You can put your fingertips behind the ears to support the head. And then what you're going to do is lift your hips, also lift your head, shoulders, torso off the mat. I like to think of it like you're trying to crunch up into a ball. So it's exhale up, inhale back down. Exhale up, crunch up into a ball, and then inhale back down. Good. Exhale up, inhale back down. Good. Exhale up, inhale back down. Good. Exhale up, inhale back down. So just go with your own breath. Again, exhale up, try to contract those muscles. Hopefully you're feeling it by now, since we did all those other kind of core exercises. So hopefully you're feeling it by now. Well, you should be feeling it by now, hopefully. Again, rest whenever you want. Try a few more if you'd like. Good. Whenever you feel like, oh, I've had enough, coach, come on. Just go ahead and put your arms up overhead. Put your legs all the way down your mat and really reach, reach, reach. So you're just trying to reach up over the head, reach down with the legs. Give yourself a big stretch there. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Good, then what I want you to do is just roll over onto your stomach on your mat. So you're just going to roll over onto your stomach. Go ahead and stack your hands, and you're just going to rest your forehead on the tops of your hands here. So just stack your hands, rest your forehead on the tops of your mat, here, or on the top of your hands, stacked hands here. Just taking a breath or two. Good, so we did work the front of our core, so we're going to work the back of our core, and we're going to get into a yoga pose called locust. And these are different variations of it. Locust, L-O-C-U-S-T, L-O-C-U-S-T, locust pose. I believe it's an insect, kind of like a grasshopper, I believe. Anyways, I want you to get to know the names of poses. Again, that'll be a midterm quiz. Final quiz is just trying to identify different poses. Okay, so just hopefully you're getting to know different names, or try to, okay, as we go through the semester. As long as you're doing all the different practices, you should get it, all right? No problem. All right, so first one is, all I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale up and lift that leg, and then exhale it back down. Inhale up the other leg, and then exhale it back down. So inhale up, you're lifting from your hip, so point your toe, keep your leg relatively straight, and just alternate. Inhale up, exhale back down. So when I inhale, I'm using my diaphragm, filling my kind of midsection with air with the diaphragm to kind of support myself, my midsection, when I lift my leg. Inhale up, exhale, back down. Good. Inhale up, exhale, back down. Inhale up, exhale, back down. Good. Inhale up, exhale. And see if you can just lift a little higher and higher as you go. Lifting that leg. So what you don't want to be doing is bending your knees. So it's not anything like this. Okay, you want to keep that leg relatively straight here. Inhale up. Exhale, back down. Good. Inhale up, exhale, back down. So I'm just alternating legs. Inhale up, exhale, back down. Good. Inhale up, exhale, back down. Good. Now, so if that all feels pretty good for you, again, this is kind of a progression to go through it. If you have any low back issues, make sure you listen to those here. Listen to your body. Do what feels right for you. So again, I progress to a little bit more here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to rest my forehead on my mat. My arms are out in front of me. Now as I lift my right leg, I'm going to also lift my left arm. So opposite arm and leg here. I'm going to even lift my torso, maybe head up. You can look up at that hand or just down at your mat, whatever your neck feels like, and then exhale back down. Inhale up, exhale back down. So inhale up, you're lifting the opposite arm and leg. Your torso comes up a bit. And exhale back down. Inhale up. Think about reaching out. And then exhale back down. So you're inhaling up, reach up and out, and then exhale back down. If this is too much for you, just go back to just lifting the leg that we were doing before. Okay. Now we'll move on. This is going to be a full locust pose. Again, L-O-C-U-S-T, locust. Is put your arms by your sides. You can rest your forehead on the mat. Now what you're going to do is lift both legs and then lift the torso. Arms come up too as well. Inhale up. Fill that midsection with air with the diaphragm. Exhale back down. Inhale up. Exhale back down. So here you're lifting up upper and lower body. Inhale up. Exhale back down. Good. Inhale up. Exhale back down. Good. Inhale up. You can look up if you want, if your neck feels like it, or just look straight down at your mat. Exhale back down. Good. Just try that with your own breath. Inhale up. Exhale back down. Good. Inhale up. Exhale back down. This one, you can think about squeezing those glutes as you come up here. You can even think about squeezing your shoulder blades together in your back. Again, look up if you feel like it. The neck feels like it. So on this one, we can move with our breath, which is what we're doing now. Or if you want, you can come up and hold it. Come up and hold. And just make sure you breathe. Some people don't hold your breath. Some people hold their breath here. Don't do that. Make sure you keep breathing. What I like to do is, since I'm just kind of hanging out here, you can put your arms out to your sides, or some can go out in front. That's the toughest here. So whatever you can do, or what I like to do is, I like to just kind of move my arms a little bit while I hold it. Just gets my shoulders involved a little bit. You can take both arms out in front of you. Do what feels good for you. If it's too much, you don't have to do this. Do what feels right for you. Or I like here and do this. Just take my hands out in front of me. This is a good one. If anyone a surf out there, any surfers out there, I like to surf, but this is definitely get you in shape for surfing here, because that's what you do when you're lying on your board and you're paddling here. So get all those muscles ready for surfing if anybody does. Go down and, of course, rest anytime you want. Try a few more. Again, go with your breath. Hold it. Again, if this is too much for you, do the opposite arm and leg one we did. Do just the leg if that is better for you. Opposite arm and leg. Again, whatever works. Rest anytime you want. Good, then next time you come down and rest, let's just go ahead and we're going to push back into child's pose. So this is a resting pose, very popular one in yoga. You may have done this and not realize it's even a yoga pose, or maybe you have done it and you knew it was a yoga pose, but it's called child's pose. So your feet are flat, but you can always, if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can always curl your toes under. I know when I first did this, I started getting cramps in my arches when I put my feet like this. So I actually had to kind of curl my toes like this to kind of get that cramp out. So if that happens, of course, do something like this here. And then what you do is you're going to sit your hips back towards your heels. I can't get my hips all the way to my heels, but do the best you can here. So you'd like to get your forehead to the mat here. But if you can't do that, just go ahead and stack your hands or even stack your fists to rest your forehead. Should be a comfortable position here. If it's more comfortable to widen those knees, you could take your knees a little bit wider and do it. If that's more comfortable. It's a good one. We did kind of work the backside of our core, low back, glutes and everything. This kind of stretches all that out. Plus, if you want to put your arms out in front of you, you could, it's called extended child's pose. That'll stretch out your shoulders. So again, just take a moment here. Again, child's pose. And I'll say anytime during our practice, if you want to go back in child's pose and rest and hang out there, no problem. Just do that. That's a great pose to just rest. Again, knees wider if it's more comfortable. Maybe as you're staying in child's pose, maybe you can get the forehead more towards the mat a little bit. So again, maybe from the fists to the backs of the hands. Again, just taking a moment here in child's pose. Good, so just come to your forearms in child's pose. You're just going to come up onto your forearms. And what we're going to do is we're just going to warm up our wrists a little bit. I'll say the biggest complaint I usually get from teaching yoga in my in-person classes is my wrists. My wrists bother me. So let's warm those up because we are going to go to our hands and knees. We'll do a little bit of some kneeling planks and things. Where it's going to kind of bend your wrist back a bit. So let's just warm that up. So just on your forearms here, just take your wrists and go forward and back a few times. So we're just going to go forward and back here a few times with the wrists. Good. Now what you'll do is just circle those wrists in one direction. So just circle them around. Again, just nice and easy here. Good, we'll go in the other direction. Good, open and close the hands a few times here. Just really open them wide and close them up, make a fist, open wide. Maybe just your fingers, you're just gonna do your fingers here. Good, then what we'll do is we're just gonna go to our hands and knees. So you're just gonna go hands and knees here. So make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders, hands underneath the shoulders, or wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. So you don't want to be all cramped up here like this, and you don't want to be all spread out here like this. So just again, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders here, and really spread your hand nice and wide. That helps. If your wrists start bothering you, you could always go to your fists here. If you need more padding, you can fold your mat over for your. If you're on a hard floor, you might want to do that. If you're on a carpeted floor, that's probably got some cushion on it. But if you need to, just hands or fold the mat over, and you can put your fist there here. So it's just put your wrist in a neutral position, right? If you're on you got your wrist in a neutral versus here like this where it's going to be bent back. So just going to your fist puts it in a little bit better position, so that might be working for you. Okay, so what we're going to do here, hands and knees, and we're going to go cat-cow. So cat pose, you big exhale, you're just going to push your back up, round the back, you know, like a cat when they stretch, you're going to basically cat back. Big exhale, you can bring your chin towards your chest, think about pulling your belly button in towards your spine, big exhale. And then we're going to inhale and we sway the back, and that's called cow pose. Just how a cow's back kind of has a sway in it, we're just going to sway our back. And then we just go back and forth. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And you can look down at your mat. Some of you might want to lift your chin in cow pose. Do what feels good for your neck. And you're just going to go back and forth. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Good. So if you got any kind of low back issues, this is a great one to kind of loosen up the low back. But just make sure you go in a range of motion. Shouldn't feel any pain or anything. Whatever range of motion works for you. Again, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. So it's mainly for the low back here, but you can involve your upper back. So as you go into cat pose, you can spread your shoulder blades apart. And as you go into cow, you can just bring your shoulder blades together. So that would involve the upper back a little bit here. And then you could do a lot of things here with, I like to move my hips side to side when I go from cat to cow. That kind of feels good for me. I rotate them around a little bit as I go from cat to cow. So you could do that. I'll even move my head side to side a little bit here as I go from cat to cow. So feel free to do what feels good for you here for cat and cow. You can feel free to keep going with cat-cow if you'd like. Go back to child's pose if you need to just kind of rest and stretch a little bit. Stretch that back out a little bit. Go back child's pose. Or here, I'm going to move on to, so we did this lying down. We'll try this from our hands and knees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to bring my left leg straight behind me. Okay, so I'm going to extend that left leg all the way out. So you can point your toe or you can point your heel. So you're flexing your foot. Either one works here. So that's the left leg. And then I'm going to lift my right arm. So take your time here. Might be a little balancing issue here. Just take your time. Your palm could be down, palm turned in. So you're just trying to extend out, right? Really reach up and then out. You're trying to really extend yourself. You can look up at that hand if their neck feels like, or just straight down in your mat. Just try to hold. Again, might be a first time for many of you trying this, so just might feel a little off balance. Just try to see if you can get your balance. Good, really extend out. Make sure you breathe. Good, we'll bring that arm and leg down, and I'll try the other one. So it's right leg, left arm now, and really reach, reach, reach. Reach, reach, reach. Again, look up. Palm down, palm turned in, point your toe, point your heel. Then I'm just going to go with my breath here. I'm going to exhale down, inhale up. Exhale, down, inhale up. Inhale up. Exhale down. Just go with your own breath here. Inhale up, exhale down. Again, when you inhale up, fill that diaphragm midsection with air here. Supports that midsection, low back when you're doing this one here. Just go with your own breath. Feel free if you want to hold it. Maybe you want to hold it a little bit, breath or two, and then come back down is fine too as well. Whatever feels right for you. Good. You can always go back to cat-cow if you want. Maybe you want some cat-cow again. You can always go back to that one. Good. And then whenever you feel like, I've had enough, just go back child's pose, right? Just go back child's pose again. Hang out there. Take a few breaths here. If you need to kind of warm up the wrists a little bit more, you can do that here. Or actually, here, I'll show you this kind of stretch with your wrists. So what you do is just come up onto the knees, and what you're going to do is just put your hands, point your fingers back towards you here. And that'll stretch out your wrists a little bit more here. So the closer your hands are to you, probably the less stretch you get, but the more you put your hands out in front of you, the more stretch you're gonna feel. So again, do what feels comfortable for you here. Again, just to kind of stretch out those wrists a little bit more here. Good. Just back to extended child's pose, putting your arms out in front of you here. And then what we're going to do is a little bit of a shoulder stretch here, because we're going to go into a kneeling plank here. So before we do that, we got our wrist stretched out. Now we're going to get our shoulders. So all I want you to do is, I got my right arm out. I'm going to take my left arm through, kind of thread it through kind of that right arm here. And then just, I'm going to bring my arm through here. You can bring your forehead to the mat or turn your head to the same direction that arm going through. And then just kind of stretch out the shoulder. You kind of decide how much weight do you want to put on that shoulder there. If you want to roll the wrist out a little bit more, you can do something like that here. You can bring the hips up a little bit more, putting more weight onto the shoulder if you'd like. Might want to turn your head in the same direction that arm going through. Good, then what we'll do is try the other side. So you're going to just thread that other arm through. Take that arm, just thread it through here. Turn your head in the same direction that arm going through, or forehead on the mat, whatever is comfortable for you. And again, roll that wrist out. Good, so here, go ahead and put your hands out in front of you, extended child's pose. Good, then what we're going to do is we're going to come out of child's pose to a kneeling plank. So you're just going to bring your hips forward and engage your core, right? I don't want you to sag your back, because that, you'll feel it in your low back. I don't want you to sag your back. Also, I don't want your hips back here. Bring your hips forward, and it's a kneeling plank, So I did say we're going to do a little bit of strength stuff in here. So this is going to work our upper body a little bit here. So and also core work here, engaging our core. So all you're going to do here is go ahead and slowly lower yourself down to the mat, but try to lower your whole body at once, okay? Meaning don't sag your back so your thighs and stomach hit first. Try to keep your core engaged, right? Core engaged, so my whole body, thighs, stomach, chest, all hit the mat at the same time. That's what you would like, okay? And then what we'll do is just put your arms out in front of you, forearms on the mat, palms down. Here, we're going to see what type of low back flexibility you have today. My low back flexibility in this back extension is not the best here. So what I do is I just bring my forearms back towards me, elbows maybe underneath your shoulders, and this is called Sphinx pose, okay? You can look up if your chin feels like it or not. It's up to you, okay? So this is about the most my low back goes. Some of you, again, listen to your body on this. I'm not going to demonstrate it. I'll put a picture on canvas of it. It's called, well, this is called Sphinx pose, Sphinx here. What I do is I'm going to bring my hands by my chest and lift my torso. This is called a low cobra, okay? But some of you might be able to put your palms on the mat and then extend your arms all the way up. So your whole torso comes up off the mat. Keep your lower body on the mat, your legs on the mat though, and that's called a high cobra. All right, so I got low, so there's Sphinx pose, Sphinx, forearms on the mat. There's low cobra. And then there's high cobra where you push up and extend your arms all the way up. I know there's somebody that probably could do that. My low back just does not like that. So this is about the highest I go here, is to a low cobra. All right. So if you want to try a high cobra, that's just pushing, extending your arms all the way up. That's going to be a bigger back extension here, if you'd like. All right. Listen to your body. Do what works for you. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push up. So hands by your chest, shoulders, low cobra or high cobra, and then push up and back into child's pose. Okay. So we're going to learn a little bit of a sun salutation or part of it. So here we go. We go child's pose. We're going to go to a kneeling plank. Kneeling plank. Good. Lower yourself slowly to the mat. Good. Lift the torso. Lower high cobra, your choice. Lower high. I'm doing low. And then push up and back, child's pose. Good. So it's plank. Good. Lower yourself slowly to the mat. Good. Coming up, lower high cobra. And push up and back, child's pose. Okay. Here, I'll show it from the other side. Good. Child's pose. So kneeling plank. Good. Lower yourself slowly to the mat. Good. Come up, lower high cobra. Good. Push up and back, child's pose. Good. Plank. Good. Lower yourself slowly to the mat. Good. Coming up, lower high cobra. Push up and back, child's pose. Good. Plank. Now I'm going to throw another thing in there. It's called Chaturanga Dandasana. It's a Sanskrit name. I use Chaturanga for short, and a lot of yoga studios do. If you ever go to a yoga class or you're going to do some other yoga videos too, they might just say Chaturanga. So I just want you to know what that is. And that's what you're going to do is lower yourself slowly down about halfway. Elbows are bent about 90 degrees and just hold and hover. Just hold and hover if you can. That's called Chaturanga. Then you just lower yourself, don't fall down. Just lower yourself slowly to the mat, lower high cobra, and then push up and back, child's pose. Okay, so plank. Good, lower yourself slowly to the mat, Chaturanga, hold and hover halfway down. Good, lower yourself slowly to the mat, come up to a lower high cobra, and then push up and back, child's pose. Again, plank, or I should say kneeling plank to a kneeling Chaturanga, hover and hold. Good, slowly come down to the mat, up to a lower high cobra, and then push up and back, child's pose. Good, plank. If you're not able to hold Chaturanga, that's okay. Just lower yourself slowly, just see if you can just pause just briefly before you come all the way down. That's fine too. Do whatever you can. Lower high cobra, push up and back, child's pose. Again, plank, kneeling plank to a kneeling Chaturanga. Good, coming down to the mat, lower high cobra, and push up and back, child's pose. Good, plank, kneeling plank. Good, kneeling Chaturanga. Good, lower yourself slowly to the mat, coming up to a lower high cobra, and push up and back, child's pose. Good, and you can just try this on your own. Plank, again, it's kneeling plank to a kneeling Chaturanga, hover and hold for as long as you can, or would like, coming down, lower high cobra, push up and back, child's pose. And if you want to work a little upper body strength, which I recommend, is doing a yoga push-up. And what is that? That's going Chaturanga, push back to plank. Chaturanga, push back to plank. Again, Chaturanga, push back to plank. You can do a few of those, as many as you like. Feel free. Here, yoga push-ups. Or just go Chaturanga, cobra, lower high, push back, child's pose. Good, so just try a little bit on your own. Again, plank, kneeling plank, chaturanga, lower high cobra, back, child's pose. Good, you can throw in a yoga push-up anytime you want. Rest in child's pose anytime you want. Again, if you ever need water, grab your water if you need water. No problem. Good, so just coming back, child's pose here. What we're going to practice in the sun salutation is from child's pose, we come to a kneeling lunge. So what is that? All I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of child's pose, extended child's pose. My arms are out in front of me, extended child's pose. And I'm just going to bring my left leg forward into a kneeling lunge. So left leg forward, my right knee's on the mat, so a kneeling lunge. On a kneeling lunge, you like your knee over your ankle, okay? You'd like your knee behind your hip to get a good stretch of your hip flexor here. If you're here like this, maybe just put that foot out in front and see if you can get a little bit of a stretch here. So a kneeling lunge, you can put your hands on your hips. You can put them to hands to heart center, I call it. You can put your arms out here like this, kind of like cactus arms, or usually it's up overhead. So you can do a lunge like that, okay? And then what you're going to do is go from a kneeling lunge back to child's pose. So some of you might want to put your hands on the mat. I actually like to just step back and then extended child's pose. Good. And then I'm going to bring my right leg forward. Now my right leg comes forward for a kneeling lunge. Again, hands wherever you'd like. Okay. And then I'm going to go step back and do child's pose. So I'm going to just step back, child's pose. So I'm going to just try that a few times. Just come out, left leg, kneeling lunge. Good. Again, figure, do you want to put your hands on the mat and then step back? Or just kind of step back into a kneeling lunge. Good. Right leg forward. Kneeling lunge. Good. Bring the hands to the mat. Step back. Or either way, either method. Good. Just try that a few times. We are kind of warming up for a sun salutation, we'll do a modified sun salutation today here. So again, wherever you'd like your hands. Good, so let's try the next time you come up into a lunge, try this. So what we'll do is, you're going to just take your hands to the mat, watch, curl your back toes under, you're going to step forward to a forward fold. So just step forward to a forward fold, okay? So I'm just letting my arms hang, head hang, forward fold. Slight bend in your knees, don't lock out your knees, slight bend in your knees. Some of you might be able to touch the floor, that's great. If you can't, whatever you can do, just let your head hang, your arms hang, forward fold. Okay? Again, arms hang, again, a little bit of a bend in your knees. Just let your arms hang, head hang, forward fold. Okay? And then we're going to go up into a flat back or a half forward fold. So all I'm going to do is just take your shin, or take your hands, go up your shin. Once you get to about your knees, what I want you to do is put your hands by your sides, all right, to a flat back, okay? So you want to make sure on this flat back, you do have to stick the butt out, right? Your butt has to stick out. You got a slight bend in your knees, and look, my back is nice and flat, okay? If I don't stick my butt out and I kind of curl here like this, look, I don't stick my butt out, it's kind of tucked under, and then look at my back is all rounded. We don't want that. So what do I need to do? I need to kind of stick the butt out, back nice and flat, here, so a nice flat back, okay? So again, arms are just by your side. Good, now let's just go ahead and release your low back and arms come down, release your head, go back down to a forward fold. So back down, forward fold, okay? Good, then I'm going to just inhale back up into a flat back. Okay. Good, then what I'm going to do is, we're going to show you how to get out of this forward fold, is hinge from those hips, right? Hinge from those hips, arms come out to the sides, all the way up. This is called extended mountain, all right, with the arms up overhead, extended mountain. And then we're going to swan dive back down to forward fold, okay? But swan dive down, swan dive just means arms come out to the side. So your arms are going to come to the side, and you're going to come back down to that flat back position, flat back, and then release down, forward fold, okay? Good, now reverse that, go to a flat back, arms come up by your side, hinge from your hips, arms come out. That's just reverse swan dive, okay, arms up. And then exhale back down, swan dive, arms out to the sides, come to that flat back position, and then all the way down. And you don't need to be turning on your mat. I'm turning to show you. You should just be on your mat, straight ahead. Don't be turning on your mat. Inhale up. So this is how you would do it. And then all the way up. Good, exhale back down. Again, get to that flat back position first, and then go down to a forward fold. Good, inhale up. Exhale down. Good, inhale up. Exhale down. Good, inhale up. Exhale down. So again, we want to make sure we have a nice flat back before we go down into forward fold, and then when we come up, flat back first, and then all the way up. This is the safe way to come up, what do I want to say? It's a safe way to come in and out of forward fold here. Okay, we don't want our arms to go forward. That puts more stress on your low back, so you don't want to do that. Your arms come to the side and come down. So arms down to the side, come down, and then we come all the way down. Okay? Inhale up and exhale down. Should feel good on your low back if you're doing it right here. Shouldn't be any pain in the low back. Inhale up and exhale down. Good, inhale up. Now I'm going to add something. Inhale up, and then we're going to do chair pose. Chair pose is like a little squat. I'll do a small one. We just bend our knees, we come up. We're going to hinge from our hips. Our hips go back first, and then we bend our knees. Weight goes back onto your heels. Okay, so it's inhale up, exhale, chair pose. Good, inhale up. Exhale, chair pose. You'd like your feet and knees straight ahead if you can, okay? And your butt goes back, weight comes back on your heels. Inhale up, exhale, chair pose. Good, inhale up, exhale, chair pose. Good, inhale up, exhale, chair. Good, inhale up, exhale, chair pose. Good, inhale up, exhale, chair, okay? So now let's try this. Inhale up, exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Good, inhale up to a flat back. Good, exhale back down. Good, inhale all the way up, and exhale, chair pose. Okay, inhale up. Exhale, swan dive down to a forward fold. Good. Inhale up to a flat back. Good. Exhale back down. Good. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, chair pose. Again, you don't have to turn on your mat. I'm just turning so you can kind of see what's to be done. Inhale up. Good. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Good. Inhale up halfway. Good, exhale down. Good, inhale all the way up. And exhale, chair pose. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Good. Inhale up halfway. Good. Exhale down. Good. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, chair pose. Good. Just come to mountain. Mountain's just a standing pose. We can just kind of shake it out a little bit if you need to shake it out some. You can do that. Get a little water. If you got a water bottle handy, get a little bit of water if you need it. Okay. So we have learned all the different parts of a sun salutation. And remember I talked about this on the syllabus. This is going to be an assignment where you're going to have to kind of do a video of you doing the sun salutation and saying it too as well. So I want you to learn it. We'll just do a modified one today. We'll get into a full one as the weeks go by. So right now we'll just try a modified one. We've learned everything about the modified one so far, so we'll just put it all together, okay? I'll just walk you through it here. So go ahead and come to the front of your mat. So just come to the front of your mat if you're not there. So in front of the mat, you're going to be in mountain pose. So mountain pose, just a standing pose here. Your feet are straight ahead, slight bend in your knees, all right? But you're standing nice and tall. Maybe bring your shoulders back and down. Palms may face forward here, and you're standing nice and tall. And it's kind of like if you had a string attached to the top of your head, it'd be like somebody's pulling on that string to pull you up, so you're standing nice and tall. So this is mountain, okay? It's just a standing pose, okay? So this is how we start a sun salutation. So here we go. So mountain. Good. We're going to inhale up, extended mountain. Arms come up overhead. And again, you should just be facing forward on your mat. And then you're going to swan dive down to a forward fold. Okay, we practiced all this already. Okay, so forward fold, we just haven't practiced stepping back to a lunge, but we did kneeling lunges. So from a forward fold, just take your right foot back to a kneeling lunge. Right foot back, kneeling lunge. Right foot back, kneeling lunge. Okay. So from kneeling lunge, you're going to put your hands on the mat or step back into child's pose or extended child's pose. Good. From extended child's pose, we're going to go to kneeling plank. Kneeling plank. Good. To a kneeling chaturanga. Good. Coming all the way down the mat, going up to a lower high cobra. Good. Pushing up and back into child's pose. Good. Now we're going to take our right foot forward for a kneeling lunge. Right foot forward. So we lunge to each side. We're lunging to each side. Good. Then we're going to bring the hands to the mat. Step forward to forward fold. So the left foot to the right foot. Step forward, forward fold. Good, we're going to reverse swan dive up into extended mountain, and then exhale down to chair. Okay? So to end it, we would end in mountain, but we're going to go right to another one. So I'm going to skip mountain and go right to extended mountain. So here we go. Inhale up, extended mountain. Good, swan dive down to forward fold. Good, we'll take our left foot back this time for a kneeling lunge. Left foot back, kneeling lunge. Good. Bring the hands to the mat, stepping back or not. So the hands to the mat or just step back, extended child's pose. Good. Kneeling plank. Again, we learned this already. Kneeling chaturanga. Good. Coming all the way down, lower high cobra, right? If you want to do a high cobra, that's extending your arms all the way up. And then push up and back, child's pose. Good, then the left leg's going to come forward for a kneeling lunge. Good, hands to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Good, reverse swan dive up into extended mountain. And then exhale to chair. Again, you don't have to turn on your mat. I'm just doing it to show you here. Good, here we go. We'll try it again. Inhale up, extended mountain. Good. Swan dive down, forward fold. Good, step back, right foot, kneeling lunge. Good, hands to the mat or step back, child's pose. Good, kneeling plank. Good, to a kneeling chaturanga. Good, up to a lower high cobra, your choice. Good, push up and back, child's pose. Good, the right leg forward, kneeling lunge. Good, hands to the mat, step forward, forward fold, the left to the right foot, forward fold. Good, reverse swan dive up into extended mountain. And then exhale to chair. Here, we'll try one more. Here we go. Inhale up, extended mountain. Good, swan dive down, forward fold. Good, bringing the left foot back, kneeling lunge. Good, stepping back or hands to the mat if you need to child's pose. Right leg back to child's pose. Good, to a kneeling plank. Good, kneeling chaturanga. Good, coming up into a lower high cobra. Good, pushing up and back, child's pose. Good, the left leg forward for a kneeling lunge. Good, stepping forward, forward fold. Good, reverse swan dive up into extended mountain. And then exhale, chair. Good, and then just coming to mountain. Good, and just shake it out there. There we go. We did, I think, around 4 sun salutations there, 4 of the modified ones, okay? So there is a handout on Canvas with that sequence of poses under sun salutations here. There's a modified one. We'll get into the full one as the weeks go by. We'll get into a full one here, but for right now, we'll stick with the modified, okay? So hopefully we got that. If you have any questions, always you can email me, right, to get a hold of me. If you have any questions about any of this, please let me know, all right? So now what we'll do is we got the work phase done here. We're just going to kind of cool down, do some more stretch type poses here, and kind of get into like final relaxation. Corpse pose, it's called Shavasana. It's the last thing where we just kind of lay and relax, all right? So we'll do a couple of kind of stretchy type poses first. So just inhale up. Good, exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Good, just go ahead and step back, child's pose. So just hands to the mat, step back into child's pose. Here to start with. Again, hopefully if you have some music, if you don't have some music, maybe put some nice soft music on during this time. Could be helpful to help you kind of relax here in the last part of class. Good, so what we're going to do is just take your hands out in front of you, extended child's pose. Just take your hands, walk them to the left. Let's just walk your hands, both hands to the left. But you really reach with your right hand to get this big stretch of your right side. So really reach right side. Good, then just go ahead and walk your hands over to the right, really reaching with your left arm to get your left side. Good. Just coming back to center here. Good, we'll just come out of child's pose, and what you're going to do is just roll over onto your back on your mat. Good, we're going to bring, if you have a towel here, if you have a towel or a strap, just get that handy because we'll use that here. So if you need to go grab a towel, go grab a towel if you need it. Because what you'll do is just bring the left knee to your chest. And then what you're going to do is extend that left leg up in the air, but put the towel or a strap around the foot. So if you have the strap, you'd put it around your foot here like this and coming up. Or if you have a towel or a belt might be helpful too as well. Putting that around the foot. And you're just going to extend your right leg down the mat, or if it's more comfortable, you can always bend your right leg and put your right foot on the mat. But we're just bringing our left leg up in the air, and you're just going to pull it towards you. Just get a stretch in your left hamstring here, the back of your left thigh. So again, either the right leg's extended, or if it's more comfortable with the right leg bent with your right foot on the mat, either one. So just hold, breathe, and pull that leg a little bit more towards you. And the reason why we're using a strap, towel, belt, whatever you have, is so you can rest your head comfortably on the mat. And just relax and breathe. Hopefully you got some nice, quiet, soft music on, which could be helpful. Or not. Maybe you like the silence. That's going to be fine too as well. Good. So what we're going to do now is, so I got my left leg up in the air. We're just going to try to get a different spot in your hamstring. All I'm going to do with that left foot is bring it across my body a little bit to the right. So not too much. I don't want that left hip coming off the mat or anything. Just bring it to your right a little bit, just across your body a little. Might feel a little different stretch in that hamstring there. So that's all we're going for here. Again, just relax, breathe. Good, let's go ahead and just bring it back to center. Maybe just pull a little bit more towards you one more time. Good, just go ahead and bend the left knee, taking the strap, towel, whatever you have around that foot. Good, let's go ahead and extend the left leg. Let's bring the right knee to your chest here. Good, bring the right knee here. We're just going to switch legs, so putting that strap, towel, belt, whatever you have around the right foot. And extending the right leg up in the air. Just relax, breathe, pull it towards you here. Good. Then what we'll do is bring the right leg across your body to the left, just a little, not too much. Again, you don't want that right hip coming off the mat or off the floor at all. Just across the body a little bit. Feel a different spot in your hamstring. Good, just bring that right leg back to center, just pulling it towards you one more time here. Oh, and if you have that pillow, you want to put your pillow under your head, you can always do something like that during this too as well. Good, let's go ahead and bend the right knee to your chest here. Pulling that right knee to chest. Good, just go ahead and release the right knee, but keep that right knee bent. So we're going to the next one here. So all I'm going to do is bring my left leg, and I'm going to cross my left leg onto my right thigh, right above my right knee. So my left ankle is right on my thigh, my right thigh, right above my right knee here. So I've got my left leg crossed onto my right, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my right foot up off the mat, okay? So, a couple options here. What you'd like to do is that left hand goes through the hole created by your left leg being crossed. My left hand is going to go through that hole, grab the back of my right thigh, right arm goes here, and I go ahead and grab and pull here. So if you could do that, great. Rest your head on the mat. That's what you'd like here. But if your head comes up off the mat and you feel like your head needs to come up off the mat, what you do is use your towel or strap, whatever you're using, put it around that right thigh here, and then go ahead and use that to pull. I'd like you to be able to rest your head on the mat, and you can use that to kind of pull the right leg up, the right thigh up here, okay? Good, so hopefully we can kind of see that, what I'm doing here. I need to turn like that, so here, just like this, or like this. Some of you might be able to go up and grab the knee too as well. That one I kind of have to reach a little bit, so I will grab the back of my thigh. Again, use a towel if you need, or strap, again, if you need to pull that leg. Again, just relax, breathe. We're getting the left glute is where you should feel this one, the left glute here. Good, we'll go ahead and release that leg, and let's try the other side. So now I'm going to put the left foot on the mat, left knee bent, crossing the right leg onto my left thigh above my left knee. Bring the left foot up off. One side might be different. Maybe you need a strap for one leg than the other. So again, whatever you need here. Again, you'd like to be able to rest your head on the mat or a pillow here. If your head's coming off, just use a strap if you need it. Relax and breathe. I always do the kind of the stretch poses at the end because you're well warmed up, your muscles are nice and loose, and you'll be more flexible here at the end rather than at the beginning. So this is why we do these here at the end. Plus it kind of gets you to relax, getting ready for final relaxation here. And just relax and breathe. Good, we'll release that leg, uncross the legs here. Good, let's just go ahead and bring our knees to our chest. Maybe the head up, chin to your chest, just curling up into a ball. Just giving yourself a big hug there. Good, releasing the knees, release the head. We'll do a spinal twist here. So what you can do, here I'll show you two ways to do it. One is your knees are bent, you can just let your both knees just fall to one side. All right, we'll go to the left side first here. So again, your knees just go to the left. You can put your arms out in a T and we'll just kind of relax here. So that's one way of doing it. So just your knees. Your knees can be up as high as your hips or lower, whatever's comfortable here. Or if you want to try this, since we're going to go to the left, cross your left leg over your right, like all the way. So there's no space in between the leg like we had that last stretch. You don't want that. Your leg is all the way crossed. You're going to use the weight of your left leg to go over. So you're just using your left leg to bring that right knee over to the left. So you can do it that way or both knees to one side. Either one works. So you can try either one, see which one feels best for you, and just relax. Arms are out in a T, so your arms are out here, just trying to keep your back flat on the mat, whatever one works for you. Just relax, breathe. Again, both knees to one side, left leg crossed over the right, whatever one works for you. Just both knees to one side feels best for me today. Good, we'll go ahead and come back to center. Now try the other side. So again, now we're going to go to the right side. So both knees go to the right. Or cross the right leg over the left and go to the right. So bringing the weight of the right leg onto the left. Bring it over to the right. Good, just coming back to center, uncross the legs if you have your legs crossed here. And then what we'll do is we're going to do lying butterfly. So what you're going to do is just bring the soles, your knees are bent, bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees fall out to the sides here. Just relax those legs, let gravity just take your knees towards the floor. And then find a nice comfortable position for your arms out to the sides here for lying butterfly. Just relax, breathe. Try to find a nice comfortable position for your arms out to the sides. Shoulders, heads relaxed. Good. Hopefully you have some nice soft music on if you like it. Good, so you can slowly just go ahead and extend your legs all the way down your mat. Letting those legs completely relax. If your legs relax completely, your feet just kind of fall out to the sides. Again, nice comfortable position. Arms are out to your sides, a nice comfortable relaxed position. Again, maybe a pillow for the head if you'd like it. Let your arms relax, shoulders relax. Just kind of let your whole body just kind of relax here. Think about letting yourself sink into your mat here. Again, this is called final relaxation. Corpse pose it's called. Shavasana is the Sanskrit name for it. You're just getting back to your breath, letting yourself completely relax. You're not falling asleep, just try to really relax here for the last few minutes of the practice today.
And slowly just go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe going through and touching your fingertips to your thumb, just back and forth through your fingers, touching them to your thumb. Maybe rolling the wrists around, ankles around a little bit. Good, you can slowly just rock your head side to side, nice and slow. Good, then just rolling over onto your side, whatever side you prefer, supporting the head with your arm out or maybe bent, whatever feels comfortable for you here. And then just taking a moment here, I like to remind you to take this moment, really take in how you're feeling at this time. My hope is that you're always feeling a little bit more relaxed, at peace, at ease than when you began the practice. And then again, take the moment to try to hold on to the feeling. See if you can just take it with you on throughout the rest of your day or evening, whenever you're doing this yoga practice. Good, whenever you feel like you got a hold of the feeling, just push yourself up into a seated position, whatever is comfortable here. So, just a seated position, legs out, legs crossed. Again, whatever's comfortable for you. I like my legs out. Sitting up nice and tall. Here, big inhale up. Good, exhale down. Good, big inhale up. Exhale down. Good, big inhale up. Exhale down. Good, one more time. Big inhale up. Exhale down. Well, always thank you for joining me for your yoga practice today or this evening, tonight, whenever you're doing it here. We'll build from this. Have a great rest of your day, evening, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.